So today I worked in Toong Coworking space here in Hanoi. Toong has 4 locations in Hanoi and 8 in Ho Chi Minh City. Specifically, the one I worked in today is at 51 Phan Boi Chau in Hoan Kim. It's a pretty nice area. Lots of little restaurants. It's a little bit more of a business area, but then also there's some kind of like nice international stuff over here. And it's kind of where a lot of the embassies are at. I will be rating Toong based on design, equipment, culture, friction, and price. So as far as the design, I'm gonna give it a B+. I really liked the design. It had this cool kind of hipster Brooklyn vibe, and inside it had like little modern artwork things. All of the seating and the tables and all that kind of like blended into that design. I found it really consistent. I found it really aesthetic. So I thought it was really cool. It kind of like harkens a little bit back to that WeWork style, where it's like supposed to be like sort of a trendy hipster sort of co-working space, but this is a Vietnamese centered company, and so they have their own twist on it. Like I said, it has kind of like a cool little modern art pieces as part of the design. On the floor I was working on, it had a little mini kitchen that had some spots where you get some water, get some coffee, and then my personal favorite is it had ice, which not always places have. And I like my water to be real cold, so a little bit of an ice bucket goes a long way with me. On the very first floor, there is a cafe. The menu is relatively limited, but it was pretty nice. I was able to get a smoothie. That's always important for me because then I can throw a little bit of protein in it, since I always go, after my workout anyway. So overall, design, B+. I really liked it. Equipment at Toong, gonna give it a C+. Probably its weakest item that I'm gonna give it, simply for the fact that everything was pretty basic. The tables were fine. The chairs probably is the main thing, which is they were just the basic chairs. They didn't have any wheels on them. They didn't have any cushions. They didn't have any lumbar support. They didn't have any of that extra Gucci stuff. The thing that actually sinks it down is there was also the little calling spaces they didn't have any doors on it, so you could potentially have some noise leakage if if you and someone else are taking calls like at the same time back there. They also didn't have any seats in the call rooms. So basically, if you're gonna take a call, you're gonna have to set up your stuff and be on your feet the whole time. And I'm gonna give it a plus, simply for the fact that they at least had the call spaces and they were actually down the hall. So it wasn't, so the noise pollution probably wouldn't have been terrible, but it's definitely something worth acknowledging. I mean, I've been to a lot of I've been to a lot of co-working spaces. It just didn't have really any call rooms at all. And so people ended up taking their damn calls like at the table that you were clearly working at, and they would just assume that you just apparently didn't mind them yelling in a foreign Asian language. So as far as culture goes, I'm gonna go ahead and give it a B. Not really anything specific to judge it based on. I was there all of Tuesday. I mean, it's the 30th of December, so I'm not sure if everybody just decides to hang out and chill on that day. Oh, screw this. Doesn't matter where I go, I'm taking a cab anyway. This is rush hour in Hanoi. It's pretty nuts. I was there pretty much all day. I never really saw it get busy. It was pretty basic crowd. It was pretty much a lot of Vietnamese in their 20s to 30s. Areas working out, there was like work team, male and female, and they spent, they talked, but they were pretty quiet. They whispered, they were polite because they had to get their stuff done. So like, can't really complain, but nothing really to say like, oh yeah, this is amazing. It was like, yeah, it was all right. As far as friction goes, I'm gonna give it a B. No major friction. Another place where miraculously the card machine was down for both when you show up to the front desk and for when I was like paying for my little smoothie at the cafe, and so I had to pay cash. So, not really a big deal. The staff was super helpful though. I came in, signed up, the guy told me about it. As I answered my questions, I was asking about the company. He showed me around the facilities and all that. That was a pretty solid experience. Nothing too crazy though. All right, and finally, price. So I'm totally chill with this. Price for 1 month membership at Toong, 2.8 million dong, which plus 8% VAT is going to bring you to $115 USD as of the recording of this, which is not bad. It's pretty decent. I used to have a membership at WeWork. That's another story. And this place was honestly, like, amenities wise was comparable to WeWork. I don't remember really WeWork having anything that I would ever use that this place didn't have. But when I was having that, I had my membership headquartered in Seoul, Korea, and that was costing me about $250 per month to maintain that membership. And that was like a continuing membership versus this place, which is half that price. Obviously, the big distinction is it is confined to Vietnam, but you know, if you were gonna come here and you were going to be here for a couple months, rather than having your WeWork membership that, yeah, it works everywhere, like just show up here, sign up for this, and it'll be just as good. And honestly, if I were to be back here in Vietnam and gonna be, you know, here every day in Hanoi or Ho Chi Minh or whatever, I would be perfectly happy to be going in there working every day. First note is the fact that I already have a Regus membership. Also the simple fact that like now part of my job is to review co-working spaces. So it's better for me to have a place that's like kind of cheap, and then I can distribute that savings into visiting all these other places so I can make videos. But if you found this helpful and you wanted to know my favorite co-working space in Bali, then go ahead and look for the link in the description. And if you happen to be coming to Hanoi and you want to know my pick for my favorite gym chain, then go ahead and click the video that's right there.